Let's talk about why this is different from what has burned you before as an agent. I just want to make this video and be extremely direct because we get a lot of agents coming through our process that have been absolutely burned by other lead vendors. Their investment with these lead vendors has been literally set on fire. It's absolutely crazy, and I don't blame you for being skeptical. That's why I want to shoot this video and clearly elaborate on how this is different from everything else you've done in the past. Now, what we noticed is there's a lot of companies out there that are not really focused on selling leads that make sense to sell to LifeAge. They're giving you either leads who are way too early in the sales process, or they just can't fund it in the first place. And the agents that we work with, they don't want to do any of that crap. They don't want to deal with any of it. So we built a system that literally gives you the ideal person coming through the pipeline, someone who's actually searching for an IUL in the first place. And then in addition to that, we filter specifically for people who are actually going to be able to fund the policy. One of the most expensive problems is what we see, this is the first thing that I want to address, is what we call the needs convincing demographic. Most vendors, when they sell you leads, whether it's through social media, most of the times you get cheap leads through social media, they are too early in the sales process. Can you sell it to these leads? Absolutely. They're super cheap. You can get lots of them, but your probability as an agent of actually writing IULs off of this, writing production off of this, and making a return on whatever you spend with one of these vendors is very low. You're speaking specifically to a needs convincing demographic, or you get these type of leads through. A lot of feedback that the agents or the sales team will articulate to the marketing team would be, these leads are too early in the sales process. They need a lot of convincing. These leads weren't interested in an IUL, and now I'm trying to speak with this person to see if I can maybe pitch them on the idea of it. You have to think about it in this context, especially like with social media ads. If someone is on social media, they're there to connect with their friends and family. They're not necessarily looking for an IUL. And if we have ads, social media ads, whether they're bait and switch, even if they're direct and it's very like direct messaging, trying to capture people with high intent, they were not necessarily looking for an IUL in the first place. So this is the needs convincing demographic. They might have filled out your form still, which is great, but you still need to convince them on the idea of an IUL. Now, the second biggest thing that we see is, even if you are able to connect with, so you buy a batch of 100 of those leads, there's always a certain percentage of people that might be interested in it, right? That's fantastic. But out of those, a lot of these are generally not financially qualified. They're not really the right fit for the product, and something like an annuity or another financial product might make a little bit more sense given their current situation. And like that's the biggest thing. So like when you buy a batch of these leads from a lot of these other vendors, this is why it's really hard to make a return. Now, I've seen this secondhand, to be clear. Like I myself have been brought in with other vendors to work in their ad accounts just to give like an audit. And this is literally what we see. Ads speaking to someone in the needs convincing demographic. Sure, they get super cheap leads. It helps their margins. But you as an agent, you just have such a lower probability of actually writing production off of this. So I firsthand saw agents who were extremely skilled. They could literally sell anything. They're stuck trying to talk with people who can't fund an IUL in the first place or never even wondered what they were selling. That's the constraint specifically. It's not that they don't have the skill set of closing. They also don't have the capacity to be able to speak with all of these needs convincing leads all day long and still write production, because your time is extremely valuable. If you spend all of your day chasing these type of leads who are super low intent, super early in the sales process, you're gonna burn out. You're not gonna write production. So what we do specifically that's different is we work with agents who, to be clear, you have to be already writing production. You have to be a very experienced agent, and we do vet to see where you're at in terms of skill set, because we want you to make a return. Otherwise, it just makes no sense for us either. We make our money in the long game. So we work with agents that are already doing production, and then they bring us in as the marketing experts to help give them leverage, connect them with people who are actually looking for IULs and are financially qualified. So our service is truly unique, and it really stands out from everybody else because we connect and we literally guarantee that you connect with people who are not in the needs convincing demographic, but in the in-market demographic. Allow me to explain the in-market demographic. So these are people who are actually looking for an IUL. They're deep in the sales process. They're searching things like IUL quotes. They're searching and comparing different agents. And so first things first, we use search ads to target these types of people. So we have the ability to literally serve ads to people that are searching these exact search terms. We serve ads to them, and then they come to our site and request a quote from one of our agents, which would be you. Now, I'm not sure if you've noticed or you saw this somewhere else, but we also filter out, and we filter specifically for affluent individuals who are actually able to fund an IUL. So you're not only getting the intent of someone who's actually searching for an IUL, if we just gave you this alone, it is wildly different, the conversations you'll have with someone who's actually looking for an IUL versus you need to convince them. In addition to that, we filter for people who will actually be able to fund an IUL. So if they're between 25 and 60 and they're able to commit to at least $300 a month, we deem them as qualified. If they're over 60 and they have over 50K in assets, whether it be a 401k, IRA, or a brokerage account, this also counts as qualified. They are definitely in a unique position, but if they have the assets, technically it would make sense for you to sell them an IUL. And if they're under 25 and they have over 25K in existing assets and can commit to $300 a month, this is another scenario where we deem them as qualified. So there's really kind of three categories. The best thing about what we do is because we have so much friction in who we are deeming as qualified, there's a lot of people that we turn away. And what is really unique, I've never seen anybody else do this. Anyone that we turn away, we still will send them to you. It just doesn't count as a qualified lead. So you don't technically pay for that lead in that scenario. But those are additional opportunities for you to turn them over and sell them into, let's say, an annuity or something, or another product that might make more sense given their current situation. So it will give you additional opportunities to make a return on anything you buy from us. If you have any additional questions on this, there's a number specifically on this page. Feel free to shoot that over a text. I or another sales rep on our team is going to be reaching out to you. Happy to clear any of this up before our call, or of course, we're going to go into much more depth on our call together.